Hi everyone, Janie here, and today I want to share with you a really easy way to make something absolutely beautiful out of your napkins. This is just one example, and I actually use this for a light, but you can use it for a vase, and they're just gorgeous. And the one I'm actually going to do the tutorial on today is one like this, where I've actually cut out and added an image. And that one just happens to be an adorable little bestie there. But I will tell you, this was my very first one. And I made a mistake because I didn't know that there was a white layer that is attached to the napkin. And so I didn't take it off. And so because of that mistake, it has caused some little bubbles and wrinkles. But I've learned since then. So before we head over to the craft table, I want to give a shout out to my friend Shell, who you will know on YouTube as the Tape Queen, because she's the one that actually got me started with napkin crafting, I guess is what you would call it. So thank you so much, Shell, and I'm going to put a link below so you all can visit her YouTube channel. Now let's head over to the table and see how easy this is to do. First, I want to show you a couple of basics you're going to need, such as a jar, and you may have a different size jar than I have, so I'm not going to be giving dimensions on that. You are going to be needing a napkin, and you need to make sure that your napkin is going to be the right height and length to fit around your jar. You're going to need an adhesive to adhere your napkin to the jar, and I use this multi-purpose spray adhesive. I really like it because it dries quickly and isn't too wet for the napkin, but you could use Mod Podge. And talking about Mod Podge, you're going to need Mod Podge. I'm going to be using a super gloss and sparkle, but after you watch me make the project, you may decide on other forms of Mod Podge that you would want to use. If you're going to be using an image, which is what I'm going to be doing, then let me tell you really quick that what you need to do is take a piece of white tissue paper, and I used washi tape to attach it to a piece of cardstock so I can run it through my printer. And I printed out an image. This is an adorable Sherry Baldy, my bestie, that was perfect for what I'm doing because it's a fall image. And then you're going to need to let it sit to make sure that it is really dry or cured, because I use an inkjet printer, and so it is just best to let it sit a while, even if it does look dry. And then you will be using your Cuddle Bug and a die with this, but we'll talk more about that later. Okay, it's later already, and I am ready to cut her out. I added a little distress ink around her. I used scattered straw, and that's because I didn't want it to be so stark white against, this wonderful fall napkin. So let me run her through the Cuddle Bug here really quick, and then we'll go on to the next step. Okay, I ran it through, and now I'm just going to remove my tissue paper layer, and I can save this piece of cardstock for later if I need to. But there she is. And now we're going to need to do the same thing with the napkin. We're going to have to run it through the Cuddle Bug and cut out a circle of the same size so that I'll be able to fit this into it. Okay, I've cut my napkin down to fit perfectly around my jar, and I've taken the white layer off the back, and you have to be really careful about that because one time I thought I had it and I didn't, but this one was really easy to come off. It was actually a loose layer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use that same die to cut a circle out of the middle. And it has a line going up the middle here from the fold, and I kind of use that as a guide to approximately where the middle of the napkin is. So I'm going to run that through the Cuttlebug. Now that I've run everything through the Cuttlebug, we have the napkin with the little window in the middle of it. And here's the piece that came out of it, and it's gorgeous. So I'm going to save that for another project. No need to trash something good. And then here's our image that we cut out, and she fits perfectly in that space right there. And now it's time to get ready for the next step. So I've got her where I want her. I'm going to turn her over, turn the whole napkin over, because we want the back side facing up. And I'm going to make sure that I have her right in the middle. So now it's time to go spray my jar with the spray adhesive, or if you're going to use Mod Podge, but I'm going to use spray adhesive, and I'm going to spray the whole jar. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to lay it right there in the middle. And the reason for that is the adhesive will then grab hold of the image in the middle and the napkin, holding everything in place so that I can then lift up the sides of the napkin. They meet in the middle and the back, and I'm going to press them down really good to make sure that everything adheres. And you're wondering, why am I showing you this now? Because the whole process, I don't think I can get on video, because once I spray, I have limited time to get this adhered, and I don't want to mess that up by turning on the camera and moving stuff around. So I will be right back. Okay, I got it all put together, and I will tell you right now that first of all, I did not go all the way to the top with the napkin because I'm going to be adding some ribbon and twine. But if you want to go all the way to the top for that look, that is great. Also, when you do this, if you end up with some little wrinkles, which are really actually hard to see on camera, but if you end up with a little tiny wrinkle or two or whatever, my opinion is little imperfections give things character. So I've let this sit for a while to make sure that it's, really dry. And now it's time for the Mod Podge. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the super gloss, and that's what I'm going to put right over this image so it's just nice and glossy and glassy. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sparkle Mod Podge, and that's what I'm going to put over everything else. Even though it's fall and you think of sparkly as for something else, I just like the way that the light glistens off from it. So you could actually put the super gloss over the entire thing if you want, or you could put matte over the entire thing if you want. But you just pick what Mod Podge you want to use to cover your jar. So let me get started on that right now. I have it finished and dried and decorated, and it came out just gorgeous. Look at the sparkle on that. And I decorated it with some cool little leaves that I used a distress ink technique on that I've actually done a tutorial on, so I'll put links to that below. But let me show you that I hadn't let her dry long enough. I probably should have done the full 24 hours, but I was in a hurry to do the video, so she did blur a little bit with the Mod Podge. But if you let it sit the full 24 hours before using the image, it will come out beautiful, just like this one. And this one has sparkle all over it. And of course, this one with just the napkin and no cutout or added image to it. So what I use inside of mine, because I use them for lights, I use these little battery operated lights. And let me try to show you what these look like with the lights going inside of them. They don't show up that great with the camera and the lighting, but I'll give it a try. Well, I hope you all enjoyed my very first napkin crafting project. And now that you've seen how easy it is and how beautiful they are, I hope you try it because I'm addicted to it now and I'm going to be making several of them for gifts. So thank you all for watching and happy crafting. Bye-bye.